Hey there, students. Welcome to Online Lessons, Skype Lessons. Hope you're all well and healthy. This is just an introduction kind of lesson just to make sure that you're best prepared as you can be to get the most out of the Skype lessons that we do. So basically, I think the best way that this is going to work is if everybody has some kind of practice pad. Now, a practice pad is simply just a pad that we can hit with our sticks and it feels something like a snare drum. So this is my one here. It just happens to be a real feel. So practice pads are typically very quiet, and that's going to be especially useful at the moment with a lot of people inside, and perhaps your entire family is going to be in the house and you don't want to be annoying them and you don't want to be annoying the neighbors, but you still want to get your drumming practice in. So there's all different kinds of practice pads. This is another really common one, rebounder pad. I actually personally don't particularly like this. It's going to be more than good enough to get us through the next couple of weeks or even months, but I prefer the real feel. Perhaps I'm not sure what your situation is. I don't know if couriers are going to be delivering out practice pads or not, but we're going to have to make do with what we've got. So if you don't have a practice pad, it's very likely you're going to have a acoustic drum kit, right? Or an electronic drum kit. Electronic drum kit is very easy because what you've got, if the kit is turned off, obviously you've just got a whole bunch of practice pads, essentially a whole bunch of rubber pads. So that's going to be really good, and you're already set and good to go. You can practice till all night if you wanted to. Now, just a typical acoustic drum kit. I mean, I can't even hit it here because the way I've got the mic set up, it'll completely blow the mic out. But if I just tap it, now, obviously, even then, it's probably going to be quite loud. So what we can do is we can start muting that down. One quick way to do it is by turning your snare wires off. Turning your snare wires off turns the sound of the snare from this to this. Now, that in itself is already going to be quieter, but there's a whole bunch of household items that we can apply to the drum to make it even more subtle. And one of those is a sweatshirt. So if I put a sweatshirt, maybe one that you don't use too much, obviously, if I just drape that over the drum now, so this is the volume of it at the moment, just tapping the head. Pop the jumper over. So it's quite muted, and it's actually really good. You're still going to get the response of a snare drum, and it's going to be really nice to play on. Let's say you're in a situation where you have no practice pad, no drums, no acoustic drums, no electronic drums. At that point, I'll be asking, why am I doing drum lessons? But anyway, there is still hope. One thing we can do is we can set up two chairs facing each other. So if you imagine this practice pad here is on a chair facing me, I could put something like, for some reason, I love using an old diary. That is just a really good thickness and a really good feel. It actually feels somewhat like a drum. An old style thick phone book would also do the trick. That's another idea. Another one is to use just a pillow. So obviously everybody's going to have a pillow somewhere in the house. Again, you want to set up your chairs facing each other. Just pop a pillow on top of the chair, or you could obviously put this on top of your snare drum. And you can play all day. Pillows are actually a really interesting practice aid because the nature of them, they normally don't have any rebound at all. By rebound, I mean bouncing off the head. So when the stick's coming back up, so typically if you're hitting a pillow, it's just going to stay there and it's not going to come back. So you're going to have to do a lot more work to get the stick up and hit again. And a lot of professional drummers will talk about the amount of time that they put in using a pillow to develop their speed and their strength. And just finally, there's going to be a little bit of fine tuning that goes into these lessons as you start sort of figuring out better ways to keep the connection really good. For example, how close are you to the modem? Those kind of things. And I think the best results have probably come from people who have had some kind of headset. I've been using really nice headphones and the sound's been fantastic for me. So, and just to communicate, a headset, and if you've got a headset, the old Britney Spears style headset with the microphone that comes around the front, that's probably ideal. And it's just also going to prevent that feedback loop from happening. One other thing to be aware of, there is going to be a slight delay just with signal bouncing up into off the satellite and back and whatnot. So on our one-on-one lessons, you're probably very used to us playing together, playing songs together, and honestly, you probably can't beat that. But there's always a workaround. So we won't be able to play together in time on a Skype lesson, but of course, you're still accountable. I can still see what you're doing. And by me putting up pre-recorded things like this, there's going to be things for you to work on. And then we can check in during the Skype call and I can hold you accountable and can see what you're doing. And it's been working great so far. One other thing, really important, once I've got all your Skype addresses, this is going to work much better if I initiate the call. So obviously, with students just sometimes one after the other, it's just not going to be very pleasant if I keep getting calls during people's lessons. So just wait, and I'll definitely try and stay on time with the calls and keep our lessons exactly to the schedule, because I certainly don't want you waiting around. I really hope to provide some value and a lot of information and some different techniques over the coming weeks and months, because hands, practice pad stuff, it often gets neglected. We jump in the studio, we've got all these nice shiny drum kits around. You just want to jump on the drum kit and play. The reality is, with our hand technique, practice pad stuff, there is just no shortcut. You just have to get in there and do that work at some point. And now is their time. It's a golden opportunity to improve your hands for good. We will, of course, also be doing some kit stuff. I've got a complete low volume setup for my kit, which I'm going to be converting very shortly. But for now, let's keep going with the pad and we'll definitely get that rocking and rolling. Then we'll get back into the kit stuff. All right, take it easy. Stay healthy.